So I was working in San Diego and I had to find a manual lymph drainage therapist. I didn't even know what manual lymph drainage was, but I knew I had to find them a therapist for my patients. And this was in the early days, this is back in the days. And I looked all around and I found Linda Ann. She has, may I reveal your secrets? Linda Ann has lipedema, and she has used over the years and learned tools to maintain her amazing body as you see today. She uses nutrition, she uses exercise. If you go to her, I had a patient who was moving and lived in the California area, was moving to Boston, and I said, no matter what you do, you need to go to Linda Ann just once. Just go to her once. And she will help you, she will guide you. She is a certified health coach. She will email you, she will pick you up when you fall off, put you back on the right path. She's an amazing manual lymph drainage therapist. She's an amazing human being. She's one of the most passionate people. I know we've used that word a lot, but she is extremely passionate about lipedema and lymphedema, but mostly lipedema. That is her passion. And when we talk about lipedema, it's terrible. We get each other so excited, we're practically screaming on the phone. So I'm going to let her bestow her knowledge of nutrition for lipedema on you right now.
Really an honor to be here with you all. And what happened to me when I was younger, I was in my late teens and I kept on putting on weight and I kept on losing weight and kept on putting on weight, and it was just horrible. And then I think I almost became anorexic because I was trying so hard to lose weight. And at that time I had a tiny waist, a flat stomach, but my legs just would never go down. They were like tree trunks. It was absolutely horrible. So I started on this starving and over-exercising and running and jogging, and I found that didn't work at all. And then pretty soon I decided I needed to start focusing to see what I ate would be affecting me. The first thing that I found were carbohydrates. When I ate bread and I had pasta, I would put on 5 pounds, just like in 2-3 days. And so I cut that out. And slowly, over the years, I started cutting out different things and finding that it was really working. So everything that I do with my patients, and that I'm going to talk about with you now, is what I have done. And so I was able to stay from stage 1 and not progress. Well, I didn't even know that I had lipedema. And then I was in Austria with Hildegard Wittlinger, my teacher, in 1992, graduating as a lymphedema therapist, and she said, "Oh, you have lipedema." And I said, "I do?" And she said, "Yes." Because even though we were students and we learned about lipedema, there wasn't really much information, and I just couldn't believe this. So that really started me on a quest. And as Karen said, I really am passionate to help each and every patient. The patient that Karen referred to me actually stayed 3 weeks in the end in San Diego, and she left on Monday for Boston. She said she's so happy that she's met me because I've helped her cut out a lot of stuff that she would have had to go through, and I've given her anti-inflammatory diet and herbs and exercises, and we found her a therapist in Boston, and so I better get on with this now. So lipedema has many challenges and frustrations. Do I go forward? Is there a thing to go forward? Oh. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, I don't have to tell you all the challenges and the frustrations of lipedema that you live with every single day, and the physical and emotional challenges affect you on a daily basis. So there's so many difficult emotions, and they're just triggered by this frustrating fat disorder. And one of the most frustrating aspects is the uncertainty. What's going to happen? What do you do? Where do you go from now? Do you give up? Are you hopeless? The tissue can often increase in size and then decrease for no reason. So it's absolutely amazing that the Fat Disorder Research Society is founded and that Karen's at the head and Lady Vaughn, and because now there really is a place for everybody to go to. And I know the word is going to spread more and more and more. It has to. So this is how we feel sometimes. It's just been one of those days and Garfield just doesn't know whether he's upside down or inside out or whatever he is. Thank you. And so for the treatment, we therapists train to do something called complex decongestive therapy for lymphedema. So that is remedial exercises, manual lymph drainage, skin care, and we do this four-pronged approach to care. But for lipedema, actually for all lymphedema as well, but for lipedema in particular, we have to not only treat physically, but we have to help with emotional support. Patients need to seek emotional support or come to organizations like this where you can get support from each other and learn from each other and from everybody who's here. You need to seek nutritional guidance to avoid additional weight gain or to lose weight and to lose weight. And then complex decongestive therapy, which is the lymph drainage, and I didn't mention compression, that's one of the parts. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Compression sometimes can be very frustrating, especially in initial stages of treatment, but we're not going to talk about that tonight because we're talking about nutrition, but I know it can be very, very frustrating. So included in the treatment is deep breathing. It's really, really important to breathe deeply. When you breathe, you move down into the sternochyli. We have an area here just above the belly button called the sternochyli. And as you breathe in deeply, you're pushing the diaphragm down and you're stimulating the sternochyli. And then you're going to affect drainage from the legs because the legs move to the inguinal nodes and the thigh and then come up to the abdomen. So deep breathing absolutely has to be part of the therapy. And if you can do yoga, that's wonderful to do yoga. Or you do deep breathing. Therapists can teach you breathing exercises to do on the abdomen. Many of you may have already experienced that. You need encouragement and support all the time and psychological support. I treat my patients to do self-massage. Not everybody wants to do it, but those who want to, I encourage them and teach them. And if not, only to open up the nodes here at the neck and the inguinal nodes and under the arms to start the drainage going. And relaxation. You need to take some time out and relax because this can be a very frustrating and stressful situation, and so you really need to take time to relax. So, do some guided imagery, walk, go to the park, go to the ocean, do something that you love on a daily basis and reward yourself. So that's great. And the challenges are that severe dieting, as I did when I was younger, and starving can lead to an even bigger discrepancy between the trunk and the extremities. And burning calories through a physical exercise may not reduce the effective fat in the areas that you want. So today's Western diet is horrible. It's absolutely horrible, and I almost want to go into food politics, and I'm probably going to be doing something because they're poisoning us. They're poisoning our children, our grandchildren, and it's terrible. So the high intake of the saturated fatty acids and the trans fatty acids and processed foods are horrible. Trans fats have actually been banned in certain foods now, thank goodness. And the low take of the mono and polyunsaturated fats and the fiber and the micronutrients also are affecting us. And then this diet is full of inflammation and exacerbates what the lipedema patient is going to go through. So we really want to avoid those. The inflammation can be aggravated by diets high in refined, hydrogenated vegetable oils, fatty meats, and high dairy. This meal here was superb. Of course, how's it going to be anything else? Absolutely superb, and something for you to strive to do at home. What I do, people come up to me and say, how can you live like that? How can you eat that way? Don't you want to have this? Don't you want to have that? And my answer is, I could do that anytime I want. Nobody's stopping me. But I choose not to, because I choose to do what I want to do to keep myself in shape. And I am 3 pant sizes smaller now than I was 25 years ago, because I just kept with the program and kept with it. Doesn't go fast, but you just keep with it all the time. So margarine and potato chips and the high sugar cause inflammation. Grain-fed beef also causes inflammation because the cows are fed corn and there's feedlot with other things in it, and that really causes inflammation. Processed meat, refined grain products, eggs, French fries, high-fat dairy products. Actually, shouldn't have put eggs there because eggs are actually really good for you. I don't know where they got in there, but especially free-range eggs. I like to get eggs from hens that I know run around all the time and eat worms and eat all the things. They're really good for you. And then the sweets are the desserts. So these should have a big X across there. And carbohydrates do provide glucose, they provide energy in glucose, but the high glycemic carbohydrates actually spike insulin in the body. And when you have too much of it, that gets stored in the liver as fat, and it also causes inflammation. So we really want to have the low glycemic carbs like quinoa, brown rice, and have nuts and beans and legumes that can actually help to reduce inflammation. The foods that I just showed you, it's like a fire. It's like you're on fire and then you're putting fuel to this fire to carry it on. And we want to rather have foods that quench the fire and just calm the body and help with that inflammation. So the typical Western diet contains 16 to 30 times more omega-3 fats than omega-6. And that's because of all the meat and the processed foods and the oils. And when you eat in restaurants, definitely fast foods and a lot of restaurants, you're getting a lot of the safflower oil and the corn oil. And so we have too much omega-6 fatty acid. So the proportion is all out. Sodium is eaten in the form of sodium chloride from processed foods. So we're all told don't eat salt, we can get high blood pressure, it causes inflammation and it's bad. But that's table salt. Table salt is sodium chloride. But if you have Celtic salt and put just a little pinch in your food, that has all the minerals in it, and it's not going to affect you the same way as table salt, which is sodium chloride. Fortunately, when you eat at restaurants, it's sodium chloride. So there are many, many little things that you can do just to help yourself. The Himalayan or the Celtic. Yeah, thank you. Himalayan or Celtic. This is something that was in Time magazine, and we know that inflammation is the source of so many illnesses today. Diabetes, heart problems. We really need to quench that inflammation. And it causes all of these diseases here. So it's crazy. Inflammation can be aggravated again by the high omega-3 fatty acids, foods cooked at high temperatures, fried foods, and so we have a big no to that. There are fats in a lot of the cakes and things. Hopefully now they're taking them all out. And you know that in Europe, a lot of the foods that are allowed here are not allowed. GMO is not allowed in Europe. And actually, McDonald's Chicken McNuggets in England has 30% less sodium than the Chicken McNuggets in the United States because people started rebelling, and then the FDA made it put pressure, and then they changed it. So we could do that too. That's why I've got to go to food politics. So corn, safflower, cottonseed, and sunflower oils all promote inflammation, and there's oxidation and free radicals, and that also causes inflammation. That's why we say to have antioxidants, vitamin E, ginkgo biloba, coenzyme Q10, bioflavonoids, all the herbs that are antioxidants. Okay? And so those are the trans fats which are in the baked goods and margarine, and they increase the body's inflammation. So I think I've spoken enough about those horrible foods. So you want to rethink your drink. How much sugar is in the drinks that you have? You'd be surprised. You can see there the amount of sugar in a Mountain Dew. Why would we want to pollute our bodies with that? It's not good. So, right. And in health news, everything you thought was good for you is now bad, right? We were told one thing for 20 years, and the food pyramid, the USDA food pyramid was like that, and at the bottom, what did we have? Carbohydrates. And it was all mixed in, the refined carbohydrates and the complex carbohydrates, and the fats and oils were way at the top. But now we've been told that's wrong. And it was wrong, what we were doing to ourselves. We really want to modify those carbohydrates and have more fat, because the fat is important. Fat does not make you fat. Carbohydrates and sugar are what make you fat.